The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zextheta presented the motion to declare war on humanity. 300 species held their breath, waiting for someone, anyone, to second the proposal. But as the minutes stretched into an eternity, not a single tentacle, claw, or appendage rose in support. Ambassador Zextheta's scales flickered between confusion and rage. The Vorthan Empire had suffered the ultimate humiliation when human colonists had refused to pay tribute for settling in the Outer Rim. It should have been simple. Every other species paid, bowed, and obeyed. But the humans? They had simply said no. Not with weapons or threats, but with a calm, almost apologetic refusal that somehow felt more dangerous than any declaration of war. Why? Zextheta's voice cracked across the chamber. Why do you all cower before these soft, pink creatures who can barely survive outside their home world without mechanical aid? The ancient keeper of records, a crystalline being whose memory stretched back millennia, finally broke the silence. Because we remember, it said, its voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. We remember what happens when the silent giants awaken. The younger species shifted uncomfortably. They had heard whispers, fragments of stories passed down through generations. The humans were new to the galactic stage, barely 2 centuries since first contact. They seemed unremarkable, average strength, limited telepathic abilities, laughably short lifespans. Yet something about them made even the most warlike civilizations think twice. Tell them, urged the keeper. Tell them about the Zarathi incident. A collective shudder ran through the older delegates. The Zarathi had been a proud warrior race, conquerors of 100 systems. They had made the mistake of attacking a human colony ship, just one ship carrying families to a new world. The humans hadn't responded with fleets or armies. Instead, they had sent a single message to the Zarathi homeworld. Please return our people unharmed, and we will consider this a misunderstanding. The Zarathi had laughed. They broadcasted the execution of the colonists across the galaxy as a warning to humanity. Within 6 months, the Zarathi were extinct. Not through bombardment or invasion, but through something far more terrifying. Every piece of Zarathi technology had simply stopped working. Ships fell from the sky, life support systems failed, even their simplest tools became useless. The humans never claimed responsibility, never made threats. They simply expressed deep sadness at the tragic civilization-wide technical failure. Coincidence? Zextheta sputtered, but his conviction wavered. Was it coincidence when the Mortiki tried to enslave human miners? Another delegate asked. The humans negotiated for their people's release for 3 days. When talks failed, every Mortiki suddenly lost the ability to see the color spectrum their prey tracking relied on. They became the galaxy's first carnivore species to voluntarily adopt vegetarianism. Or when the billion-strong fleet threatened Earth itself, added a mechanical voice from the Synthetic Alliance. The humans sent a single diplomat who said, "We would prefer to be friends." The fleet's admiral laughed until his entire armada's navigation systems started directing them home. Every course correction, every override, every manual adjustment led them further from Earth. "They're monsters," Zextheta whispered. "No," the keeper corrected. "Monsters destroy. Monsters conquer. The humans? They simply make violence inconvenient. They never fire the first shot because they don't need to fire any shots at all." The human observer, who had remained silent throughout the discussion, finally stood. Sarah Chin was unremarkable by any standard, middle-aged, wearing a simple gray suit, her expression pleasant but tired. "If I may address the council?" Every eye, sensor, and sensory organ turned to her. "We don't want to fight anyone," she said softly. "We've seen what happens when civilizations pour their resources into destruction instead of creation. We've learned that the most powerful weapon isn't one that destroys your enemy, it's one that makes them question why they were your enemy in the first place. You threaten us with your silence," Zextheta accused. Sarah shook her head. "We offer you our friendship. Every species in this room has something beautiful to contribute to the galaxy. The Vorthans create stunning crystal gardens. The Zarathi were master storytellers, and we preserve their tales in our libraries. The Mortiki developed revolutionary medical techniques that we've helped them adapt for other species. Why would we want to fight when we could learn from each other instead? But if we refuse your friendship," Zextheta pressed. Sarah's smile never wavered, but something in her eyes made the room grow cold. "Then we'll be very disappointed, and we'll hope that someday you'll change your mind." After all, the galaxy is vast, and it would be such a shame if your ships kept getting lost, or if your weapons forgot how to work, or if your people suddenly developed an overwhelming urge for pacifism. Such unfortunate coincidences seem to happen around humans who are left with no choice but to defend themselves. The vote was called. The motion to declare war on humanity failed. 0 in favor, 300 against. As the council dispersed, Zextheta approached Sarachin. "What are you?" he asked. "What are humans, really?" She considered the question. "We're the species that learned the hard way that true strength isn't about what you can destroy, it's about what you can preserve. We're the ones who figured out that the best way to win a war is to make it impossible for anyone to fight it. And if someone finds a way around your conveniences?" Sarah's expression grew distant, almost sad. "Then they'll learn why we work so hard to avoid fighting. Because when humans finally decide that violence is the only option left, we don't do it halfway. We've had thousands of years to perfect the art of war. We've just had longer to perfect the art of peace." As Zextheta watched her leave, he understood at last why no one dared fight the humans. It wasn't fear of their weapons or their technology. It was the terrifying realization that humanity had evolved beyond the need for such crude tools. They had become something far more dangerous, a species that had mastered the art of winning without fighting. The humans remained the silent giants of the galaxy, not because they couldn't roar, but because they had learned that true power whispers.